Well, while the coalition struggles with some of their internal policy issues, the beneficiary is not so much the federal government at this stage, rather One Nation, the political party that is on the right of the spectrum and has apparently been building its membership substantially in the last few months. Pauline Hanson, morning to you. What's it like at Mar-a-Lago?
Oh, God, how do I sum it up? Fascinating, interesting, exciting, a place I've never been before in my life. So, yeah, it's been fascinating to be here, and especially to speak yesterday. So very honoured and pleased that I was able to speak at the conference yesterday. And, yeah, it's great, Steve.
What is the conference you've been asked to speak at, Pauline Hanson?
Conservative political action group that's over here in America, but also they have it in Australia, and I spoke at the one just a few weeks ago in Brisbane. So they travel around the world, different parts of the world. So it's a conference where people like-minded get to talk about the political views and where we should move forward and what we need to do in respect of our countries, like-minded people with political views.
And what did you tell the American audience at Mar-a-Lago?
Well, look, I spoke about the mass migration that's happening in Australia, the impact it's having on our homeless, also about climate change, where we're headed with that. I spoke about defence and, gender dysphoria, what's happening there as well. So a few things that I spoke about, my concerns for my country and where we're headed.
So when you spoke to the audience, is it an Australian gathering in the audience at Mar-a-Lago, or are they American people listening to your thoughts and observations about Australia?
Yes, they're Americans. Majority were Australians, Americans, I should say. Mm-hmm. There were some Australians there, and it's quite interesting also people that had heard of me and came up and said hello. So it was, mostly Americans, and the comparison of what's the situation America was in and how it's turned around since Trump's has been president, their economy, where America is at the moment. And so there was a lot of comparisons.
Have you met Donald Trump? Is he there with you at the moment?
No, the president is not here. He was on the premises the end of last weekend. So he's not there. He's not here at the moment. He may be here. There's a veterans conference tomorrow night, which we are attending. So he may attend that. So he hasn't. I have met his son today, Eric.
My guest is Pauline Hanson, leader of the One Nation political party. This is 612 ABC Brisbane. Steve Austin's my name. Pauline Hanson is speaking to me from Donald Trump's residence at Mar-a-Lago in the United States. Pauline Hanson, here in Australia, the polls indicate increasing support for One Nation, and it's been reported in the News Corporation papers today that One Nation has doubled its membership base since the federal election. Do you know what the membership numbers are of One Nation at the moment in Australia?
No, I don't. I don't disclose what our membership numbers are, Steve. I never have done. Most political parties don't do that anyway. So I'm only going on what the head office informs me about. Our membership numbers have increased more than 100% now. So I'm very pleased. And, of course, we just opened up the last couple of months. We opened up branches. So a lot of people are joining the party through the branches. We've had over 52, possibly near 60 branches now that have opened in the last 6 weeks. So that's going extremely well.
Why do you think that there is a resurgence in interest in One Nation as a political option in Australia, Pauline Hanson?
Steve, I think the issue is that the Conservative Party, the Liberals and the Nationals have not put out clear policies. I think the big thing that's concerning people is mass migration has not been addressed by two of the major political parties. Climate change is another one. The impact it's having on people, businesses, industries, manufacturing, the high cost of electricity. They've started to realise that we cannot turn around climate change. The whole thing's been a hoax. A lot of people think that. And they want change. And I've came out right from day dot climate change is a hoax, and this carbon emissions, what they're trying to do, and the cost to the Australian people. A lot of people are going into poverty now because of it, whether it's climate change or mass migration. People can't afford, to buy homes, to pay rent. This is all going back to these two main issues. So I think that people are looking at One Nation in a very favourable way, that we're strong in our policies here in this area. That's why they're getting very supportive and behind One Nation.
Pauline Hanson, the head of the Australian Bureau of Statistics, has clarified not that long back that they don't regard there being a mass migration influx into Australia. That yes, there is immigration into Australia, but not what you would normally define as mass migration. Why is it that you keep referring to mass migration when the federal government issues the visas and says that migration is coming down post the COVID pandemic period?
The fact is that between 22 and 23, we brought in 740,000 people into the country. Now, prior to that, under the coalition government, they dropped it from 260,000 down to 190,000. And they have. The government now says, well, they've dropped it down by 40%, but they've only dropped it down to just below 600,000. The impact it's having on our country is that people can't afford the housing. We've got people who are homeless. And that's fact. You see it when you travel around the country. People living in tents, under the bridge, in parks, couch surfing. People can't afford the rent for housing. So it is. You can't keep bringing people into the country that's having an impact on our housing, infrastructure, schools, roads, and people are feeling it. And say, no, we've had enough. Listen to the people. You've got over 50%, nearly 60% of people are saying too many people being left in the country. To me, that says the government and the opposition are not listening to the Australian people.
My guest is Pauline Hanson, leader of One Nation political party in Australia. This is 612 ABC Brisbane. Ms Hanson is currently at Mar-a-Lago in the United States, the residence of US President Donald Trump. Is it true that you're opening branches and your right-hand man, James Ashby, might challenge the National Party for their seats in Queensland and the electorate of Capricornia or places like that in the House of Representatives? Pauline Hanson.
We've actually have spoken about it, and the election is still another 2 years away. James did stand for the state seat of which takes in the Capricornia seat. So anyway, no final decisions have been made. It's just something that we're thinking about, whether James does stand for the seat of Capricornia. We'll make that final decision closer to the election.
Wouldn't you be cutting into sort of the right of politics, the National Party heartland, and thus reduce opposition numbers in Parliament if successful? In other words, you see the Nationals as an enemy politically, Pauline Hanson?
As an enemy, I'm closer to the coalition than what I am Labor in policies, but it's also the fact is that Michelle Landry, and I don't believe she's standing for that seat again, but Michelle Landry is not against the Paris Accord or climate change. So there's things that she stands for. It's not for us, but it's not. We're not going to be able. We won't give the seat back to Labor. It'll be still held by a Conservative, whether it's James Ashby or whether it's going to be a Conservative from the Nats, or it'll be either Nats or One Nation. So at the end of the day, Steve, it's who is going to best represent the people, and that's what it's all about. And if you've got representatives there that are not standing up and fighting for Australians of this area, well, it's about time they be thrown out and put people in who are really concerned about the direction this country is going in.
You are a female leader of a national political party, and you've had your fair share of challenges as a leader of One Nation ever since the 1990s. Do you have any sympathy for the leader of the Federal Liberal Party, Susan Lee, and the pressure she appears to be under and the challenges that she seems to be facing as a female leader of a major political party in Australia? Do you have any sympathy for her, Pauline Hanson?
Regardless of what sex you are, and we are saying she's female, whether other people won't determine or say whether you're a female or a male. If you're a leader of a political party, well, you actually have to lead it. And if you can't lead it, with clear policies and direction, well, then you shouldn't be in that position. And that's my stance on it. Regardless of whether she's a female or not, a woman, you know, you have to have the best person in that position leading the party. And if Susan Lee is not performing, and a lot of people, and the question is, then why are so many people of the Liberal Party and even big donors of the Liberal Party, why are they leaving it in droves? Because she's not clearly listening to them or presenting the policies that they want.
Are those big donors leaving the Liberal Party? Are they sending donations, or are they now supporting One Nation financially, Pauline Hanson?
No. No, we haven't advocated for those donations, but we have spoken to a lot of people who were saying no more. We used to, you know, support the Liberal Party in donations or be members of it, and we're not doing it anymore. They have really had enough. They're walking away.
Finally, what about the MAGA movement in the United States, the Make America Great movement in the United States? If anything, would you like to bring to Australia as part of One Nation's policy platform, Pauline Hanson? Anything?
Make Australia great again. And I said that in my speech yesterday, and I mean that. I think we can, Steve. I think we can turn around, give pride back to the people of, you know, that they are Australians. We can pride in our nation. We can actually, you know, get back to some of the industry, manufacturing, give people those jobs that they need. We can get people back into housing and give the youth something to look forward to the futures. But this all comes down to policies, and people say I don't have policies. Well, I suggest to those people, go and have a look at my page, have a look at the policies, what we stand for, what we've done, the impact that we've had on even the major political parties that have actually taken up some of our policies. And that's what we do. We're accountability to put out new policies there, to listen to the people, and that's what I'll continue to do.
Pauline Hanson, thank you.
Thank you very much.